welcome back to my channel. Today there was an interesting turn of events. I discovered there's a tomato growing out of the side of my house. It came from my kitchen window because I'm assuming it came from a seedling that didn't germinate quick enough and I threw it out or whatever happened, but there's a tomato growing right there. That's crazy, right? And when I found it, it was originally like laying on the ground and growing outward, trying to get to the sun. Hence like how it's so long. And so I trimmed the lower branches that were like stuck in the ground and kind of rotted and held it up until I decided what to do with it, whether just to let it grow to see how it does or give it a chance and transplant it. And so I decided I'm going to transplant it, and I decided that's what I'm going to do with this section of the garden here. Citrus trees right there. I'm going to just plant it here. I don't want to put it in the available spot in my raised bed because just in case like it's prone to disease. I mean, it's not the healthiest plant in the world. I don't want it to carry over to my other ones, so I'm going to plant it separately here. And it might do well, it might not. We'll see. But I'm going to take you guys through the process of pulling that thing out and trying to keep it alive while doing so without ripping it in half. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so here we are at the tomato plant, and I'm going to try something that I heard you can do, which is plant these horizontally. Like if it's grown out like this, you can actually, when you take it up, you can bury it horizontally and just have have the top bit coming out of the ground, because there's little bumps that go all the way up the stem, and those will become roots if buried. Not the little hairs. These hairs are trichomes, and so don't get that confused. It's not the little hairs that become roots, it's the bumps that are on the stem. And yeah, so I'm thinking when I transplant this, I'm going to lay most of it down. We'll see. All right, so I'm gonna start scraping away at some of this until I don't want to do too much damage to the roots. So, oh wow, it was like, it's rooted real shallow at first. Okay. I want to save as much of the root as possible. Okay. All right. Get the guitar string off that I had it propped up with. And we'll take it over here. So, that is odd. It's a very small root ball, so I'm guessing it wasn't too healthy. All right, so we're about to plant this horizontally, and that's not a root ball, that's cat hair. Holy shit, gross. Okay, so I'm gonna plant this down this way. I'm gonna make sure these roots are all in here and good and buried and not too clumped up. Kind of like I mentioned in previous videos, you don't want things clumped up too much. And I'm gonna go ahead and, I should probably bury it this way because it's already kind of trying to point up that way in that direction. So I could plant it up like this. I don't think that's working the way I wanted to. Well, kinda. Ow, something bit me. So, reburying all this. And I mounded it up a little bit because I wanted to try to push some dirt up to get it to stand upright a little bit. Still got this one touching. So I'm gonna water it, and this is an experiment, so. And so, who knows whether or not I killed it, but I guess we're gonna find out. All right, so now that we got it planted, I know it looks a little sad and droopy, but I'm hoping that's gonna change once it gets, acclimated to the ground I just put it in. So I'm hoping it'll stand up. I'm probably gonna tie these off for the meantime to hold them up, or do something, because I have enough of these boards left over. I can still make a trellis for this, or just use a tomato cage. Either way, I got to get this covered with mulch, and then I'm going to give it a good watering, and then only time will tell if I succeeded or not. So, fingers crossed. Then I was looking for a reason to cover the rest of this section anyways, so. Cover all that, cover the tree a little more. I'd say that's pretty evened out. Let's go ahead and give it a good water. Turn that down a little bit. And remember, because I watered its roots are all the way over here, so I got to make sure that it gets watered sufficiently, because I want that whole stem to turn into roots, because then my guess is that's going to become a really strong plant, and this might be a little awesome little tomato rescue. So I'm going to see if this tomato ends up standing up. Probably won't. I'm probably going to have to put I'm going to go to put the tomato cage in and prop these lower ones up. Whew, it's warm. All right, be right back. Okay, so I got the tomato cage in, and I got the stems propped up. I think I'm gonna trim this one because it's really close to the ground, and really I'm just gonna do that because otherwise it's gonna rot. So might as well take care of that now before it becomes an issue. Got some of this mulch here. There we go. And so, it obviously doesn't look the greatest, and that's because this thing was literally growing over there, out of the sun, against my house. So yeah, it's obviously not gonna look the greatest, but we'll see if it can make a comeback and look like these babies. We're gonna wait and find out how that experiment works out. So, good morning, we're back. So, we're back to check on the tomato plant that I transplanted that was growing outside my kitchen window over there. And It is actually looking very good. I think I'm gonna have to cut one of these branches off. Let me show you here. So it's looking really good. It's standing up now. When you saw yesterday, it was really limp. And it is now standing up. It's looking extremely happy with the way. Real happy. See, those leaves, though, this whole branch here, this whole set of sun leaves right here was just sitting in the ground. So I'm gonna keep an eye on them. I'm not gonna cut this whole thing like I literally just said I was about to, but doesn't look too diseased. It just looked like it was getting eaten for a little bit. But all in all, I'd say that was a successful transplant. It's looking very happy. And it's actually getting normal sunlight now, because before it was back against that wall, and as you can see, they're constantly shaded. So that's working out. And yeah, everything else is looking really good. Happy day. I've had a string of good luck, so you know what that means. Something's bound to happen. All right, so that was just a little quick video on transplanting that tomato. Figure that's just gonna be an experiment. I don't even know what type of tomato it is, really. I don't know if it's one of the big boy varieties, or if it's the beefcake, or hopefully it's cherries, because I've been having really bad luck with cherry tomatoes. And so, yeah, I guess we'll find out. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.